Hi there, it's Khali here from Tribe. I want to spend a bit of time talking in the live today about why do this work. When we started doing these Facebook lives, we share quite a bit about why vulnerability, what's the place of it, and I've spoken quite a bit to that. And then we've had a lot of lives more recently about boundaries and the importance of boundaries and how boundaries actually enable us to express our vulnerability. But I kind of want to start sharing a few more lives, a little bit around, in a sense, what's on the other side of all of this? Once we get good at all this stuff, and I certainly feel very in process in the practice of it. What does life start looking like, in a sense? And I think it's really important. I think it's important to have a sense of the possibilities, what kind of potential we can live out of as human beings, what kind of heights of happiness and play and spontaneity and joy and play can we get to. I really want to experience more of that in my world, and I want to be in culture and community that lives that way. So just some kind of initial thoughts, starting off, some more shares that I'd like to do around this theme. So I've called this live, freedom is just another way of saying there's nothing left to hide. And this is a quote that I've taken from a Susan Campbell book called Getting Real, and it's a book that I think is a really inspiring book. It's inspired me a lot, and it's informed a lot of my perspectives around this kind of communication and perspective on living. And it speaks to me to freedom, right? And that's one of the values and ideals that I have in practicing this. That is, I want to be free. I want to have a sense of freedom of expression, that I feel free to be myself. I feel free to follow aliveness and follow a sense of what's moving through me, that I can feel my own impulse of life, my own sense of innocence being spontaneously expressed in my interactions with people and how I'm living my life. And that sense of freedom to me is just so dynamic and just has such kind of ease of movement. It's kind of this original innocence that to me we all start in as children. Children have this beautiful spontaneous innocence where they can just answer questions innocently without any filters and be in the kind of just the play of the moment, and then I think we tend to lose a lot of that as we become very socialized. And I think the socialization process that we go through is important. We need to learn how to fit as part of being around other people and learn how to be aware of other people and negotiate where we have differences in our needs and desires. And but I think in the process of that, we lose a lot of that kind of freedom, that spontaneous innocence. And not that I think we have to, but I think most of us do. And so to me, a lot of the work that we're kind of advocating for here is about kind of reclaiming that and learning how to come back to that spontaneous innocence. And the second half of this statement, freedom is just another way of saying there's nothing left to hide. It's all the places that we hide ourselves. We present particular masks of who we are, because we think we need to fit a certain way to receive love or belonging or whatever it is. We kind of construct these personas that kind of keep us safe, but actually trap us, and it's having to live into these kind of expectations that we've somehow internalized, that we lose this sense of spontaneity, and we lose this innocence of who we are, because now I have to fit into this persona, this role, and normally behind that is what is really going on for us, what our kind of true needs and desires actually are, and somehow we've like hidden that or filtered it, you know, because we think that we need to present a particular persona and a particular way of being that has us get what we think we, you know, need and want. Well, that's the way we think we're going to get it. So to me, there's like this process of instead learning to say the things behind it, learning to reveal what we're actually feeling and what our actual needs and desires are associated with those feelings. And when there's personas in front of those things that we've been operating out of for a long time, starting to reveal those places in us is extremely vulnerable, and it's like pretty hard work, and it is risky, right? They're places that we could get hurt, and I've certainly been hurt revealing those places in me, and you know, there's like quite often good reason that we've built these places to kind of protect us, to hide, you know, where we perceive ourselves as being imperfect. But through like a gradual process of taking these risks and learning how to express the truth of our feelings and our needs and desires in a way that doesn't have blame for other people, then, you know, we can be heard. You know, people will actually, you know, gradually start to feel the vulnerability, the truth of what's actually there for us, and be able to receive us in those places. You know, and it's gradually like learning to be able to do this through the kind of practice of revealing ourselves and learning how to just like have good boundaries around those places, you know, so that we're protecting ourselves in a explicit way rather than this kind of hidden kind of controlling kind of way, you know, where we can make requests and, you know, say no or take ourselves away if we need to kind of self-nurture and so on. It's learning all these things that we can then fully be ourselves, you know, and then enter into this place of freedom. And I do think it's a slow process, generally speaking, a process of practice and trial and error. But I think it's so worth it. You know, this place of coming into this place of freedom, coming back to kind of innocence and spontaneity and being able to fully be ourselves and be in the alive beauty of who we are, our expressiveness, it's so worth it. And I feel just so passionate about that, you know, and it's what has me kind of in the practice of this and wanting to kind of teach it and spread it. And I kind of really want to be like saying these things to kind of, you know, I suppose lighten a little bit and kind of put perspective around some of where it is hard. You know, I think it can be quite hard to go on the journey that I'm talking about, this journey of kind of becoming naked in the truth of who we are, you know, and dropping all these masks and taking ourselves out of hiding, you know, where essentially the hiding is trapped energy. It's places where our aliveness is not being fully expressed. And so I want to say this to myself for my own journey of unfolding and practice, and I want to say it for all the people out there who I'm hoping are inspired by the message that we're sharing and may want to start taking these risks to reveal yourself as well, because freedom is worth it. Thank you.